Hello, Cancer, and welcome to your monthly tarot reading. This is for Cancer Rising or Cancer Sun for the month of June 2023. I'm feeling this card. Oh, look at that one was that way, but I'm still feeling this card, so we're going to go with that. We are taking a look at the progression of the month. So these readings are a little bit longer. And normally recently I've been incorporating some astrology, but I was on a trip at the end of this last month, so I haven't really had time to go over the astrology in as much detail and take as much time with it as I would like. So I'm going to create a separate video for that. So that'll come out probably June 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. I'm hoping for it to be out on June 1st. I have a lot to catch up on now that I'm back. So let's take a look at the progression of the month for you. So we're looking at the beginning, middle, and end of the month. Okay. And then we're also going to pull a couple of cards with regard to challenge for you guys. Feeling a different deck. I'm going to go with this one here. So we're going to take a look at challenge and spiritual advice. This month, luckily, we don't have as many pieces that are big pieces moving in the astrology, so just know that it won't feel probably as intense or chaotic as it felt this last month. Oh, I like that for spiritual advice. I will also, because the full moon is going to be happening right a couple of days into the beginning of this month, so for June 3rd's moon, I will have those out either on the day or the day before, so somewhere around then. So just know I've got a bunch of videos that are coming out at the beginning of this month of June. Okay, so in order to kind of focus these readings to look at what themes or what area of life we can focus this reading on, since it is a collective reading and not a one-to-one reading, we've been taking a look at what comes up in this particular astrological deck to give us some clues as to like how or where this reading should be applied or what's being brought to your attention. I think it's really interesting that we have the opposition card, which is an aspect in astrology that is coming up. Oppositions typically have to do with things that are more relational. So like they are maybe challenges that tend to come up more in the interactions that you have with other people, either relationships that are romantic, this could be like friendships, but they tend to be aspects that are a little bit more challenging. Sorry, I just realized I did not put my phone on do not disturb. I definitely do not want to be disturbed. So so I have a feeling like there is some kind of it doesn't necessarily have to be confrontation, but it could be something to do with just feeling like you're at odds with a particular connection in your life, someone who is a prominent person in your maybe day-to-day life. It could be work-related, could be relationship, romantic-related, could be friendship. I know that's not as specific as some of the other cards that we can get in this deck, but I do feel like it points to some kind of like tension or friction in a connection, right? So and again, so then I would take the rest of this reading and just really apply it to what area of life this feels most resonant. And again, if this is not feeling like a reading that feels super resonant this particular month and you're watching, let's say, for your Cancer sun sign, then go watch your rising sign or book a one-to-one reading. So the beginning of the month, I'm really liking. It feels like there's fast energy. Things are starting to really pick up speed and you're getting green lights on the things that you're wanting to move forward with, right? So this is the green lights go. and also it can feel like very fast and maybe even like passionate type of energy because we're talking about the fire. It could have to do with a creative project. Again, apply this to where this feels like it's most relevant. We've come out of the Mercury retrograde and like we had all those really intense things that were happening throughout the month, not just with the eclipse ending at the beginning of the month or eclipse season ending at the beginning of the month, but then like the T-squares at the end of the month, all the stuff, right? So it's like you might be feeling like the first third of June feels like a little bit of a breath of fresh air. I have some ideas as to why that could be astrologically, but like I said, I'm saving that for a separate video. So then we move into the middle of your month and we have the Judgment card. So I feel like you're being called forth to step into either a higher role or a higher version of yourself. And it's really up to you if you choose to like step into that that next level for yourself, right? So this could be like being asked to step into a role of leadership or management or, you know, more responsibility. But this can also be very personally, like you being asked to step into, you know, the next iteration of yourself, the next level of personal growth for yourself. Maybe you're trying to improve yourself in a bunch of different areas. Maybe it's health related. Maybe it's like with the way that you have like whatever beliefs you have about life, or, you know, how you're growing as a business entrepreneur, you know, something like that. So it's just like having to do with being asked to grow into this next level. Now, if it is something to do that is connected to a point of contention or some kind of friction or, you know, agitation that you have with yourself and another individual, and you kind of already have a feeling for who this is, this could be you taking the higher road and you needing to look at yourself and like where you can be the bigger person, where you can, you know, take a step back and be really fair-minded, be really diplomatic, and like step into a higher role in that way. So just wanted to mention that in case this was feeling like resonant for you. And then we come into the end of the month, and I really like the end of the month actually for you. We have the Six of Wands, you know, and the Six of Wands is, yes, a card of victory, but it's also a card of, I would say, recognition. Right here we have the hero returning back to the citadel after he's been through battles, right? And he's like he's come home victorious, and they are, you know, usually you see them like showering them with like flowers and wreaths and stuff like that. So it's like being recognized for your accomplishments, being seen for that in some way. So I'm getting the sense that like for some of you, this like could be very personal, but it feels more along the lines of like personal growth or like business or that kind of a thing. And whatever relational aspects that's affecting, I feel like you're going to know who I'm talking about with regard to that. One thing I will say too, though, is that when it comes to the Six of Wands and that kind of recognition, you know, and feeling victorious, I would say if you are having any kind of like friction with somebody else where it feels like you kind of are going toe to toe or having opposing views or opposing desires or whatever it is, make sure that you're not going about winning and being victorious at all costs to the detriment of the connection, right? So just being sure that you are as conscious and as as conscious as you can be in this scenario. I mean, we're all human, whatever, you know, it's like we even when we're trying to do our best, we're not always necessarily seeing all sides, and we don't see until it's like hindsight, we see where we kind of like, oops, I kind of messed up there, right? So I just want to keep that in mind for where that resonated, that came through as a ping. So, you know, as far as the challenge coming up, you know, there are two ways that I'm reading this particular challenge that's coming up for you this month, Cancer. And, you know, in one way, I'll work backwards from the first impression that I had. So the second one that I was really feeling into was, you know, struggling with feeling in flow, at ease with, at peace with allowing change to happen, because it's going to happen no matter what. Things are going to shift, relationships are going to change, the dynamics between people, what we want will start to differ at some point. Maybe our paths start to go in different directions. Whatever, you might have to suddenly move. A job might change what they want from you, or that they're downsizing or they're upgrading and merging. Who knows, right? Life changes in all of these different ways. And, you know, if the challenge card is coming up here, I feel like there could be some resistance to things feeling destabilized in some way. Like, I've just gotten accustomed to things going in this way, or I'm just starting to work with things in this way. And now I really want things to continue along that path. And maybe they're not really flowing in a way that feels comfortable for you. And I would say, okay, if that's the case, then like get okay with life being about change and find the ways to self-soothe and to be able to navigate shifts and to be able to develop your skills with pivoting when life feels uncomfortable in that way. Because I know, like, if you have strong Cancer placements, you might be someone who's just like, I'll just go back into my shell. Like, I'll just like, I want to go into my comfort space and I just want to be like comfortable, you know. And again, we're generalizing here, obviously, because we're not looking at your chart specifically. But if you do feel really resonant with like Cancer, that could be a thing, right? So that's the second impression that I had. The first one that I had is that some of you are going to need to pivot because there is going to be a shift. Like the thing with the Wheel of Fortune is like the wheel spins and you don't know where it's actually going to land, right? You don't know if it's going to land on something that makes you feel great or if it's going to land on something that feels challenging. And so the first impression I got really when I saw this was like, ooh, some of you out there are going to need to deal with like a shift or a pivot that feels really uncomfortable, that you might say subjectively like is not good or doesn't feel great, you know, subjectively is quote unquote bad for you, not what you want. And so again, like it still kind of holds true for the second part of what I was saying, is that, you know, there is this need to become adaptable, to be able to pivot, and to just know, like, if life is shifting and changing in ways that feel really uncomfortable, you're going to be called to grow. And this may be exactly what this is related to specifically. So, you know, just keep that in mind. And that's not coming till the middle of the month, right? Again, the beginning of the month feels like, woo, and then you're asked to like step into that. Stepping into these higher roles can feel like a challenge as well, you know, but I think if you really embrace that, you come through in this way where it's like you even if you're not being seen, like I was going to say, you maybe feel seen or recognized or you feel victorious, but also like you'll be able to recognize yourself and give yourself appreciation for having come through that or having stepped into that, right? So the spiritual advice I said, I was, you know, at the beginning that I'm really loving this for you is because the Empress card is just beautiful to have as a card of advice. For those of you who are creative types, I would say one outlet that's coming to like through for me here is to dive into your creativity. She is an artistic card. So I would say that's one thing to dive into, but she's also a card of abundance, right? The Empress card is a card of the earthly pleasures as well. And so I feel like you're being reminded here to look around and notice where you have this abundance already growing in your life, and to remember to dive into the really pleasurable things in life and to remember what those good feelings feel like. I think sometimes when we're under stress or when things are changing in a certain way, or we're asked to like step up in certain ways, or we're experiencing like friction with, you know, a prominent person maybe in our life, or experiencing that kind of friction opposition, right? We can forget how good life is and how amazing life feels. And so I would encourage you to do the things that literally feel like they are pleasurable to each and every one of your senses. You know, touch, taste, your eyes, what you listen to, like listen to good music, eat good food, drink good libations, like in a beautiful environment, someplace ambient, you know, like that, or someplace that has ambiance, you know, or in nature maybe, or something like that. Get a massage, or like, you know, do the things that like feel yummy to your skin, that feel delicious, right? Do all the delicious things, feel all the delicious things, enjoy all of the earthly pleasures, to remind yourself of like, life is good, you know, like we forget sometimes when we're in it, we forget life is good. And I think sometimes when we're reminded of just like how beautiful and amazing life is, we can really just feel more inspired, feel like we have the energy to really like push through and make it to that next level. So I'm really liking this. You know, it's like, honestly, there's more challenging cards that you could definitely get. I feel like Cancers in some of my readings over the last, like, I don't know, 3-4 months have kind of gotten like hit by a few cards where I'm like, ooh, Cancers probably think I don't like them sometimes, but that's not the case. So I'm really digging some of this for you. You know, yeah, you've got this challenge over here and these challenges here, but I don't think it's anything insurmountable. So again, I'm going to have the astrology for the first half of June coming out, hopefully around June 1st is what I'm hoping for. And then for the first full moon, a couple days after that, it'll be coming out as well. So bunch of videos. So definitely if you found this helpful, or if you want to be up on when those videos happen, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell. But also if this was helpful, please give it a like. It really helps me as I'm building this channel. For those of you who have, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.